For centuries, Mars has loomed over us. Our red neighbor, the god of war, and the planet humanity has always dreamed of stepping onto. But dreams can quickly twist into nightmares. Because far beyond the orbit of Earth, a frozen wanderer has awakened. A comet, known only as 31 Atlas. When the James Webb Space Telescope locked its mirrors onto this streak of ice and fire, astronomers expected clarity. What they found instead was terror. Its trajectory defies prediction. Its tail glows unnaturally bright. And its destination? Mars, the very world we one day hope to call home. But here's the question. Is Mars about to be destroyed, or is something far stranger waiting to be revealed? It began quietly. Too quietly. When astronomers first logged Comet 31 through Atlas, it seemed like nothing more than another icy relic drifting in the endless dark. A frozen traveler from the outer reaches, destined to swing around the sun and disappear forever. For months, no one paid it much attention. But then, the James Webb Space Telescope turned its gaze toward it, and everything changed. Instead of fading, as comets usually do after their initial flare of sunlight, 31 Atlas grew brighter. Its tail lengthened unnaturally, stretching millions of kilometers across space. Its icy core, instead of shedding dust in random bursts, pulsed, as if beating to a rhythm. Some scientists whispered that the nucleus might be hollow, hiding something within. Others feared a more disturbing truth. The comet's orbit itself seemed manipulated. The calculations grew darker with every passing week. Each trajectory update pointed to the same horrifying conclusion. 31. Atlas was not just passing through the solar system, it was headed directly for Mars. Panic spread in hushed tones across observatories. Leaked documents described the comet as behaving like a controlled object. Yet nobody dared say the word aloud, because Webb had seen something else. Something buried in the comet's streaming tail. Not dust, not rock, signals. But these weren't just random bursts of energy. They carried the rhythm of intelligence, as if the comet itself were trying to speak. At first, the data looked like nothing more than interference. Static rippling through Webb's receivers, the kind of noise that can be explained away by solar winds or background radiation. But when researchers filtered the signals, something impossible emerged. Patterns, not random, not chaotic, but structured. The pulses came in measured intervals, repeating like a drumbeat echoing through space. Then, they shifted, alternating in sequences that eerily resembled binary code. Webb's detectors were not the only ones listening. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, silently circling the red planet, picked up faint echoes of the same signal. As if the comet wasn't just bleeding light into the void, but broadcasting. The debate inside NASA and ESA fractured into two camps. One claimed this was natural, a bizarre but explainable interaction of ice, magnetism, and cosmic rays. But the other camp whispered a darker theory. The comet was carrying something inside it. Something with the ability to communicate. And if it was broadcasting, the question no one wanted to ask was simple. To whom? Meanwhile, Mars itself seemed to respond. Instruments detected subtle changes in its thin atmosphere. Tiny waves of energy that rose and fell in time with the comet's pulses. It was as if the red planet was listening. And then, without warning, Mars's sky began to glow, weeks before the comet was even close enough to touch it. At first, astronomers thought it was a glitch. Mars's atmosphere is thin, too thin to support dazzling displays like Earth's auroras. And yet, glowing bands of light shimmered across the red planet's skies. Not random, not scattered, but concentrated in patterns. The glow pulsed around specific regions, ancient craters long known for their magnetic anomalies, places where Mars's crust held strange fields of energy no one fully understood. For decades, scientists had dismissed them as remnants of a long-dead magnetic field. But now, it looked different. Intentional. It was as though the planet itself was awakening. Whispers began to circulate inside classified channels. Declassified fragments from decades past spoke of a theory few dared mention, that Mars might once have been a battleground. Some believed its atmosphere had been stripped away by natural catastrophe. Others, those who had seen deeper files, suggested it was something else. A weapon, unleashed long ago. Could the planet be reacting now because it had faced this threat before? If so, then 31 Atlas was not just a comet. It was a trigger, a repeat of history, and Mars was preparing its defense. But then, Webb peered deeper into the comet's coma, the swirling halo of gas and dust around its core. And in the haze of ice and light, it captured something impossible. Not rock, not ice. Geometry shapes, precise, mechanical, unnatural, hidden within the comet's glowing shroud. The James Webb's cameras weren't supposed to see this. Its mission was to study stars, galaxies, the birth of the universe itself. But when its mirrors focused on the glowing haze of Comet 31 Atlas, the images defied belief. Through the comet's icy halo, patterns emerged. Sharp, deliberate, unmistakable, hexagons, arcs, perfectly smooth spheres, angles so precise they mocked the chaos of nature. Astronomers stared in silence. Comets are dirty snowballs, random collections of dust and ice. They do not build symmetry. They do not hide machines, and yet, Webb had captured geometry. Theories exploded. Was this an alien craft, disguised in ice for eons? A probe launched by a civilization long extinct? Or worse, was it a prison, carrying something that was never meant to be freed? The comet no longer looked like a mere wanderer of the void. It looked like a vessel. And as it drew closer to Mars, the planet's strange glow intensified, as if recognizing an old enemy, or an old master. The world's space agencies clamped down on the data. Webb's transmissions were classified, its raw images quietly locked away. But secrets have a way of leaking. Rumors trickled out, astronomers whispering of impossible architecture hidden in ice. And then, just as speculation reached its breaking point, something happened. The comet flared, its coma erupted, splitting open just long enough for Webb to glimpse what lay beneath. And within that brief tear of light, something metallic glinted in the dark. The signal began as nothing more than static, a low hum buried in the background noise of space. But when Earth's deep space network amplified it, the hum grew into rhythm, pulses, deliberate, structured. At first, scientists assumed it was the comet again, its strange, icy geometry broadcasting across the void. But when they traced the signal's origin, the truth chilled them. It wasn't coming from 31 Atlas, it was coming from Mars. The red planet itself was broadcasting on the exact same frequency Webb had detected from the comet, a planetary echo, synchronized in time, as though Mars and the comet were engaged in dialogue. Two ancient voices speaking across the void. Analysts overlaid the two signals. What emerged wasn't chaos, but structure. Call and response. Question and answer. The comet spoke, Mars replied, back and forth like two instruments playing a song humanity was never meant to hear. Inside Mission Control, a terrifying question took hold. Was Mars alive in some way we had never understood? Or had it been programmed long ago? Its crust, its anomalies, its fields of energy, built as part of a defense system against intruders like this. But then the rhythm changed. The elegant back and forth broke. The pulses aligned, merged, and shifted into a single, unified stream, not communication, a countdown. And as the numbers ticked down in prime sequences, one truth became clear. Time was running out. The pulses quickened. What began as scattered rhythms now thundered into a relentless sequence, building faster and faster. When cryptographers stripped away the noise, they saw the truth. The pulses weren't random. They were counting. Not in human numbers, but in something universal. Primes, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. Each beat echoed across the void like a heartbeat from another age. The comet's flare intensified, its icy shell fracturing, splitting open under the weight of something hidden inside. And there, gleaming through the cracks, was a dark metallic core. Smooth, angular, too perfect to be natural. Meanwhile, Mars itself erupted. Its crust burned with streaks of energy that raced across the planet's surface like veins of fire. Dust storms rose not in chaos but in spirals, mathematical formations, as if guided by design. Observatories on Earth recorded bursts of radiation lashing outward from the red planet, aligned precisely with each pulse of the countdown. The comet wasn't just falling toward Mars. It was being drawn in, pulled, as though the planet had been waiting for this exact moment. And then, silence. The pulses stopped. The countdown reached 0, all signals cut off. The comet's blazing core hurtled into the Martian sky, and the red planet vanished beneath a curtain of light. And in that blinding instant, humanity was left with one impossible question. Had Mars just destroyed the comet? Or had it awoken something buried within it? The James Webb telescope confirmed the trajectory. Comet 31 Atlas is locked onto Mars, but what it carries, and what Mars is preparing to unleash, remains a mystery. Some whisper it's a natural disaster. Others believe it's the reopening of an ancient war, waged long before Earth drew its first breath. Mars may not just be a dead world. It may be a sentinel, and now it faces its trial once again. So I leave you with this question. If Mars is fighting a battle of survival, are we next in line?